Hi everyone, I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber,
And
we're
Witches
Witches
Talking
Talking Tarot.
And today we're going to be talking about the origin of Halloween decorations, which I was so excited about this episode. Like, just when we talked about it, I was excited about this episode. But then doing more research on it, I became even more excited about this episode because, like, the what we think of as modern like Halloween decorations, it's really a new thing. Like,
Well, and I mean,
what we think of as
right, because,
Halloween
like, yeah, in
decorations.
olden days, they did other
They did
things.
like
So, yeah, we're going to
jack-o'-lanterns.
span
Yes.
time. I'm excited too. Yes. So, do you want to, should we talk about American Halloween history first, or like start way back and bring it up to
I
American
don't mind
Halloween?
starting way back and
Okay.
then bringing it up. So like I
Yay!
think one of the most ancient Halloween like decorations has got to be like the jack-o'-lantern.
Well, yes,
But they didn't
absolutely.
always use pumpkins. They didn't
They
even
use
have
turnips,
pumpkins.
exactly. They use turnips, and those faces are so terrifying.
They
They're
are
like,
fucking scary. Yeah, they are. They kind of look like the shrunken head on Harry
they
Potter 3.
fucking.
The
Well,
one, like,
I'm not as familiar, but yes.
they're
No,
like.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no,
I was
you
just
didn't.
like,
You didn't.
okay, because I'm like, I'm not as familiar with the
But they
Harry
look
Potter
like
shrunken head, but
like
yeah,
a shrunken head. Like
they
I can see
do.
where they would be scary to fucking ghosts.
Fuck yeah,
They're
like
what the fuck is that?
dude, my brother. This is not Halloween related, but it could be. Okay, you don't have pumpkins, you don't deal with pumpkins, you don't want to carve out a pumpkin. When my brother was in school, they learned about shrunken heads or something, and they took apples and they carved faces into the apples, and then they let them dry out naturally, and they became these terrifying little shrunken head thingies.
God.
That is an amazing Halloween decoration.
It
scared the shit out of me as a kid, y'all.
I believe it though. I believe
but it wasn't for Halloween. It was just for like whatever they were learning in like his gifted class.
I feel like I did something
that's
like
a
that
cool
in
idea
school.
for Halloween.
No, totally. And I feel
just
like I did
didn't-
something like that in school, but it was a potato.
That would be equally terrifying.
It was
and
pretty hard.
okay, also like potato, root vegetable works. Apple this time of year works. Both of these things are just as applicable for Halloween carving as pumpkins are. Because traditionally, like Maddie said, it was turnips because pumpkin carving began with the Celts over in Ireland.
Right.
And like there's the story of Stingy Jack, which I've mentioned before, so I won't go into like super big detail, right? But I feel like you brought up that so we could get that one out of the way, because I love telling this story and Maddie knows it. So Stingy Jack was a real bad dude, and he was like so bad that when he made a deal with the devil, he tricked the devil. He was having drinks on Halloween night with the devil. I think it was Halloween night, but if not, we're going to go with that because I like it best. He's having drinks with the devil, and he was like, hey, devil, you pay, and I'll get you back. And then the devil turned himself into a silver coin, and Stingy Jack, instead of paying for the drinks, stuck that silver coin in his pocket with a cross. So the story of Stingy Jack is definitely at post-Christianization. Jack-o'-lanterns are pre-Christianization, but I still love this story, so it doesn't matter. So Stingy Jack has made a deal with the devil, or he made a deal with the devil, like, to get the devil to turn into the coin, but then he tricked him. He put him in his pocket. He's trapped by a cross because, the devil versus Jesus. Right. Yeah, exactly. So eventually Jack lets the devil go, but he's like, hey, you cannot get any retribution against me. And the devil's like, okay. So then some time goes on, and somehow Jack tricks the devil again, and he gets the devil stuck in a tree with the cross carved in the tree so the devil can't come down to get him. And so the devil's like, fuck you, you're a complete and utter asshole. I'll have nothing to do with you. So when the devil gets out of the situation, later Jack dies, both heaven and hell wouldn't accept him because the devil was like, fuck that dude. And heaven was like, I know you tricked the devil, but that doesn't make you good. That makes you like worse, you know?
Right.
So Jack was forced to roam the earth looking for something to light his way or something like that. I didn't reread it because we're not going into that. We've covered it in previous Halloween episode thingies, so check out earlier stuff. And we're going to move on from that because the whole thing about jack-o'-lanterns is they were set out to keep evil spirits away.
Well, and I just have to say, because I'm Maddie and this is what I do. There's this book. It's called Jack.
Wait. Oh God.
No, straight romance? Up. You got to see the cover. I have to show you this. Okay, it is a romance about
is it
that
the Pumpkin
Jack.
King?
No, Jack no, from, it's called Jack. Jack from the story.
Oh, Stingy Jack?
Yeah.
That Jack? Oh, not Jack the Pumpkin King from Nightmare Before Christmas?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
No.
Oh,
okay, so... And
I'm not sure how I feel about this.
It's going everywhere. Like, it is... the cover is great because it's literally a jack-o'-lantern and then this, like, body of this guy without like a shirt on and it's like really buff and shit or something, but basically like she lights this pumpkin and
I'm very
she like lights this pumpkin to protect her during Halloween and he ends up like coming alive to protect her and it's insane, guys.
I guess if you really 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 loved Halloween I could see it.
You know what?
It's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's better than the gingerbread man one, in my opinion. In my opinion, and nobody else's.
I feel like, personally, I'd rather like The Headless Horseman, which is also a book, than a jack-o'-lantern, than a possessed jack.
Wow, I don't know what that was, but I agree with that statement. Happy hauntings, y'all. Oh, wait. Does it pick up? There.
Anyway, we're talking about jack-o'-lanterns. I just had to share that, and I could not find the cover, and I'm really bummed about it because it is the most amazing cover I've ever seen.
No, I can dig it. I think you told me about that before, and I did think it totally was about Jack from The Nightmare Before Christmas. But I find pumpkins are super important decorations from the standpoint of 'tis the season, right? Like gourds are everywhere. Oh my gourd! I saw the funniest TikTok about like white ladies in a pumpkin patch, and it's like she walks up. It's a dude in a wig, but he's emulating being a female in a pumpkin patch, and he's like making fun. Okay, but
it's on Kindle Unlimited.
It's not. I don't hate it. Again, I think it's better than the gingerbread man. I still like
the Headless Horseman
better.
Well,
you know what? Let's just say, you say the Headless Horseman better. I have to, completely off topic. Sorry, guys, but that's how we roll on this show. The decorations and like everything about the Halloween party in Sleepy Hollow, the movie with Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, goals. And the late, great Michael Gambon, who we talk about in last month's bonus episode. If you want to be a patron, you can hear us talk about him. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. Jack-o'-lanterns, very old original Samhain / Halloween decor, and not just for the Celts, but specifically does seem to be like one of their main things. But I've seen it in other, carving out of something to put a light in, essentially.
Right, yeah.
Right, because we light a path for the dead.
Well, and I had read, like, they didn't have pumpkins over in, like, the Celtic area until they came to America.
Right.
And then they were like, this would be so much easier.
Oh, yeah, because it's fucking hollow.
Because it's hollow and it's huge, and, like, it would just be so much easier
Quit
to use.
cutting a finger off trying to stay alive at Halloween.
So would you say that jack-o'-lanterns with a pumpkin are an American thing then?
Absolutely, 100%, because in the Celtic lands they did use turnips, and elsewhere it seems to be like lanterns or some equivalent of a lantern, because it is it's a light for the dead and a light to ward off evil spirits. Well, you know what I mean? Like, specifically with the carved things, the scary face is to ward off the evil spirits. The light is for the dead. They can see that are living are here, and they're living that are protected.
Well, and it's not just like jack-o'-lanterns or things like that, but also during Yule. I know we're not talking about Yule, but this time of year,
it's the dark season, guys.
Right, this time of year, some people will put fake candles, or it used to be real candles, in
their windows and their trees.
Same things.
We have them for our Christmas tree, our Yule tree, our Christmas tree.
Them.
We call it a Christmas tree. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I love the candles in the windows because I see them all the time.
My mom had them in the windows when I was growing up. I love them. Ours are just they clip on, and so they clip in the tree.
In the tree.
Yeah, we have some that are suction cup, but they're not as good as the clippy ones. Or maybe they're the same and we opted to put them in the tree. I don't fucking remember.
But a lot of light decorations. Also, I read that the original or the colors black and orange do come from the original overseas, like with the Celts and Samhain, because of the changing of leaves, and it's the dark season. Yes. So I guess that also stayed with tradition.
Yeah. Well, and the Celts and English really did bring Samhain traditions over to America. So a lot of our traditions are specifically based on those of the Celtic practice. But in reading up on stuff for this episode, I found that surprisingly, which I think this is on topic, but maybe it's off topic, but I still have to mention it. Pagan Kids, if you don't follow her, she's on all the social medias, and she's got pagankids.org. She's a lovely lady. I own 2 of her books, Jennifer Hartman. And she's so wonderful, and she is a Norse practitioner, predominantly from the Swedish lens of things, and there is a celebration called Aflablot, which is basically like it is at this time of year, and they do things like putting out a mum dinner and things like that, which I guess will be more for next episode. But I just when I was reading about this in her blog, she said that they celebrate the elves because they believe that the elves are connected to their ancestors, which made me think of the Celts. Yes, because the Celts and the fairies. So like the Norse and the elves, at least in the Swedish line of paganism, they believe that their ancestors are connected to the elves. And if you haven't heard us talk about the Celtic guys, we discovered from discussing with somebody who knew a lot about the Celtic path that the Celts believe they are descended from fairies.
Yeah, the fae. And I just have to say, like, there is something.
Thought that was I wanted to tell you.
It is so interesting. There is fucking something over there, okay? There is something. I'm over there. Like, how is it that Germany and, all of the other countries, Germany, Norway, all that other shit,
Finland.
Sweden, they all believe that there are different types of, like, little either elves or fairies or dwarves or,
and in the Slavic lands, like all over Europe. Yeah. All over Europe, these beliefs exist.
And I fully believe that magical creatures are like people, and they have their own, they have their own region of things.
Yeah, and
maybe
you say that.
Unicorn in Ireland, but unicorns don't live in America, just like lions don't live naturally in America.
Horses didn't live naturally in America.
No, they didn't.
They came from Europe. Yeah, I had no idea. I learned today.
They also brought horses to fucking Hawaii as well. Yeah.
I thought wild stallions. I thought that was like truly an American thing. It's not.
So Native
had
Americans
no idea.
did not ride horses.
Yeah, until they only had it for like 150 years at most.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Super crazy. I did not know.
I had the behind the scenes
Ken
of
Burns documentary. Sorry.
That just shows our personalities, because I heard that on the behind the scenes of Lilo and Stitch when they were talking about horses in Hawaii and how they came to America and Hawaii and other things. But anyway, what the fuck? What if that's how... No, I don't believe that, because I was going to say, what if that's how fairies got to America? I don't believe that. Fairies are
I think they travel... Okay, so Okay, so you say that. Okay, here's my thought that was forming as we were talking about this. Okay, because, so in the Slavic lands, at least in Russia, there's a house spirit called a domovoi. Mm-hmm. And the domovoi is connected to your family, which means an ancestral line. Mm-hmm. So the ancestors and the magical creatures are definitely connected somehow, right? Otherwise, how would the domovoi be connected to your family? Okay, so there's that. And then the Celts believe that they are descendants of the fairies. The Norse believe they are descendants of the elves. And you talk about the fairies and could they move over to America that way if they're connected in the ancestral blood. Like I was talking to Roz and she was saying like somebody said that she was like new soul, and I was like, well, I think you're a new human for sure. I don't know that you're like a new soul, but you're new to earth. Mm-hmm. Like you're new to being a human on earth for sure. And then I was talking about how Larissa's totally a fae creature, like totally fae, like the Celtic fae blood is strong in that one, because like this kid like can pull a bee out of midair, she can pull a fish out of the water when she's 3 years old. Like she is a fae creature. She has the knowing. She knows things that she shouldn't know, right? So how would the fairies come over to America? In their ancestral blood.
Well, I said that, but then I realized I think that since fae are...
Sorry, that was like a...
No, I know. I'm sorry to get off on the wrong topic, but like I think that...
It's connected.
Since fae are nature spirits, I think they are all over. However, I think they have different cultures. I mean, maybe we've got fae that look like Native Americans in America, whereas in Ireland, they have fae that look like ancient indigenous Celts.
And when, just to clarify for the listeners, because I think I know what you mean, when you say fae, you mean magical creatures, not fairies specifically?
Magical creatures in general.
Yes. Okay.
And
just because, like, a lot of people don't think of the fae that way. I do. Like, I do. So I knew what you were saying, but I just wanted to clarify for anybody, because we've had a lot of new listeners lately. Thank you guys. Hello. Well, and so I just wanted to...
No, thank you. And I think it's like that with the animals too. Like I used the example of lions are in Africa, bears are in America. You know what I mean? Just like the Thunderbird, check out our previous episode,
Season 2.
in... Where is it, Alaska? Is it Alaska?
Thunderbird, America, Alaska.
It's like Alaska. I'm pretty sure there was something in Arizona as well.
Yeah, there was sightings in like Indiana.
So what would you say? West America? Like in the West area?
I mean, Indiana's pretty eastern. I would just say Americas.
Okay, so
the
like
Americas.
The Americas. Whereas dragons are more likely to be heard and talked about in
Europe and
China. And that side of the world.
I guess
it's
Asia
the same
in
fucking
general.
side of the world.
Right, because like Slavic beliefs, snakes age into dragons.
Right.
So they have dragons in their belief. Like a giant dragon, like snake-like dragon is what... is encircling their underworld, much like Jormungandr is the snake that encircles the world.
I feel like
I said that so wrong. I'm sorry.
I feel like some science sucker is going to be like, yeah, because people probably met each other and talked about it because they're in a similar region. No, fuck you. That's
no. Like this was like it's all connected from before everybody could talk like we're talking about, because like the Celts had their thing where they carved scary faces, and I know that the without carving the scary faces, lights in the form of decorations for the holiday or for that celebration of the dead, because really that's what it is among all the pantheon or all the different paths, whether it's Celtic, Norse, Slavic. It is a celebration of the ancestors or the dead. In the Slavic lands, it's called Jadi, and it means grandfather's week or grandfather's day. I love the word Jadi. It's Dziady. And if I'm saying it wrong, I'm sorry, but I feel like my grandfather would be kicking me if I was saying it wrong, because he doesn't like my stupid American tongue, as he put it. So I feel like Jadi is appropriate for the pronunciation. It does sound more Italian when you do it that way. I get you. But also, like, rolling your R's in Russian is similar to rolling your R's in Italian. Now my grandfather is kicking my stupid American tongue, which is why I feel like Jadi is proper pronunciation. Comrade.
I love it because...
See? I practice.
He's actually here right now because
he fucking is.
It's fucking the time of year.
Yeah, anyway, no, like when I did the Italian thing, he was like, shut your fucking mouth. He was like, I need some tobacco for that.
Oh my God. So anyway, what we know of as modern Halloween decorations in America, because we're Americans, that actually became like a thing in like what, like 1910,
like
the
yeah,
early
like the
1900s.
early 1900s, after all those settlers had time to like really settle in and feel comfortable putting their things out there.
Right.
That's the way I see it, because
Well,
if you think about when they would have come over with their beliefs, so they're quietly doing what they feel comfortable with until they're like, oh, there's so many of us now, we can openly celebrate Samhain, we can openly put our beliefs out there.
It makes me wonder,
and
because
they were terrifying decorations and costumes.
The Irish were seriously discriminated against.
Absolutely,
the Irish and just the Celts in general, Scottish.
Well, what people these days don't think about is every different culture was seen as different until a certain time period. So when the Germans came over, they were seen as different, other than. When the Irish came over, they were seen as lesser than. When the Swiss came, and that's why you'll have like little Germany in areas where there's a lot of Germans, because they chose to live near each other. Chinatown, Little Italy, all these places where you had the same practices, so you lived near each other for that community, but also for that solidarity.
Well, I just wonder if,
so I think it's a good point,
that dared to put out like their jack-o'-lanterns and things, if some people were scared to do that because the Irish were so discriminated against. I don't know. That's just me wondering.
From what I understand, from one of the things I read, the English brought over those Samhain practices, like the English and the Welsh and the Scottish brought it over as much as the Irish.
Okay.
And the English were, because they were the original ones over here, they were the least discriminated against.
Right.
So I think like the Samhain practices of keeping evil spirits away, it was looked kindly upon.
Okay.
Like that was probably, and this is my own personal belief on this. I have no idea. But like that was probably one of the things they were like, oh, the Irish are not that bad.
I would hope. I don't know. I didn't do any research on that.
Yeah, that's just my personal belief based on what I know.
Bringing up the 1910s, so like Halloween in the early 1900s was not for kids. Like this was like
it's an adult holiday. It's about celebrating the dead, guys.
Well, and it's fucking terrifying. So like they used it as an excuse to like get together and play tricks and
seances were huge. Harry Houdini's life mission was to prove them false. But like, please describe the scene that you...
Okay, so like, close your eyes. Let me blow your mind for a minute. Okay, so it's like the 1920s. Let's say it's the 1920s. We've got women dressed in flapper outfits. You've got guys wearing whatever the fuck it is they wore back then. With
those like fantastic fucking suits that you want to rip off of them.
And
I'm sorry,
like,
guys.
I
got too excited.
They're bourbon, and the girls are smoking their cigarettes, and they're just lounging.
It's on that long ass holder like my grandmother had.
And they're lounging on the chair, or on the
sofa, on the chaise lounge.
Yes, and the men are just standing there, and then there's...
God, I wish we recorded over there so I could be laying on my chaise lounge.
And then there's doing their like seance-y thing, and it's just like,
and there's a crystal ball, and there's somebody under the table knocking to make things. Because they like faked that shit.
Okay,
but
so like one of the like biggest
they're real,
tricks,
but those weren't real.
Right. And one of the biggest tricks back then, I love it so much, and we still be doing it today. It's the door opens. Creaky, like it creaks open by itself, and like the guests are like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a good party. It was very much like we're gonna get together, we're gonna drink. I'm sure they're smoking weed too, because this is before it was illegal. As a matter of fact,
it was right before it was illegal.
I saw a documentary that said that like people used to take, was it shrooms? It was either shrooms or acid or LSD or something. They would take it with water at a party. It was just like alcohol. Like they just get
acid in the 60s. Yeah, for sure.
It was like they would get... No, this was like before. This was like in like the 30s and 40s. So
I don't know that chemically acid existed yet back then.
So it must have been shrooms or something.
I mean, maybe they had discovered ergot was a hallucinogen.
I don't know. It was some sort of
something.
Hallucinogenic.
Maybe they figured out the right dosage of belladonna.
I watched a black and white documentary, and they were talking about it. It was like a new thing everybody's getting. So I'm sure they're probably getting super fucked up.
And YouTube, I apologize for my faces, but I truly believe I existed back then. I truly believe I was one of those girls lounging with the cigarette, the really long cigarette, and the thing on my head with all the beads coming down. You know, like, I was there. That was one of my past lives. Like, I truly believe it. I kind of want to do a past life thing. We have that link from Against All Oddities. We should really do that.
No, I really do want to do it because I'm going to be honest, I think my most recent life, we should just do
in the 80s.
A grandmother in the fucking 80s, and then I died and was born again like 10 years later. Really, it was. It happened.
I'm not laughing. It's just because I knew,
like
that made me feel good.
I had like a white picket fence and a golden retriever and lots of the, what is it called? It's white and it's like knitted. Lots of, what's it called? You can hang them on. Crochet everywhere. Like, that was my last life, and I was born very quickly after.
And one way you can celebrate the dead, I know this isn't that episode, but it's celebrating your past lives too, because that's you. Not just your previous incarnations, but for this episode and what we're saying, that like fits into.
Do you think that was your latest?
I actually believe I believe I was in the time frame of World War II, but I don't believe I lived very old in either life. So I believe that World War II was my most recent incarnation before this one. But I don't think I lived past 25 in either one. I didn't expect to live past 25 in this one.
I believe
40. What?
I think that the ones that we remember, like the age that we remember is the time. Like for me, because I remember being a grandmother in the 80s. Well, what about the rest of my life? That means I would have been alive during the 60s and the 70s and the fucking 40s and possibly the 30s. But that's not the part I remember. I remember the part being a grandmother. And I think that's because that was my favorite time of my life. That's that love that I felt for my family just was so strong that's what shone through. That's what I think. Because I would have been alive during those times, but that's just not what I connect with, if that makes sense.
Well, and not to be too crazy, but it is a Halloween episode, so I guess I'll go there. I believe that I overcame something in this life, or connected on some level. Like, I leveled up in this life, which is why I made it past 25. Like, I didn't expect to make it past 25. I don't think in either of those two in previous incarnations. I don't think I made it to 25 in the World War II incarnation. And I don't think I made it past 25 back in the early 1900s. I think I died young because maybe I was making the wrong choices and it led to that. Like, I'm not sure, but I think I did something in this life that allowed me to make it past that threshold because I truly didn't believe it. I did have Roz. I did. I did. I was right. I did. And I do tell people all the time, she saved our lives. Like, yeah, we got pregnant young, but like, I'd have been dead by 25 and he wouldn't have been well off by that point either. Just based on the way things had gone up until that point. But there's a lot I think about that actually. But, so, decorations. So anyway, they were scary as fuck, but they were also fun for adults to get scared because life is scary.
Right.
And when you get to control the scary, it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like spook houses, you control the scary and that makes it a fun experience. Whereas like paying bills, you don't control that scary shit. Sorry, guys. I took it too real for a minute.
What really sucks is about these original, I'm going to say quote-unquote original Halloween decorations, original American Halloween decorations.
Yes, we've moved on to America.
Yes. Okay. Is that they were made to be destroyed the next day. They were party favors. They were made of
paper mache and cardboard. Nothing like too
like whatever. And I read that if you find an original one, it's extremely rare and worth a lot of money.
That's
because
cool.
They had to have taken very good care of it because it was
meant
to
be. It was meant to be trashed.
So that does suck. Day. I feel like because
I mean, to me it sucks for a different reason because like they were so let's throw it out mentality that like how much did it pollute the earth unnecessarily? But that's a little,
I feel like from a historian's perspective, it fucking sucks.
Because I mean that too, but from that time frame, we do have pictures, and so there's that. Like they're preserved that way, which is a benefit that maybe doesn't exist prior to that time period. Really, like late 1800s is when we got pictures. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and it wasn't until later that Halloween became for children, and the spooky became kind of spooky, but okay.
Yes, and that was because of the original Karen. Maybe she's not the original Karen, but what we know of as Halloween for children came along because of a Karen. As I said to Maddie earlier, Elizabeth Krebs had an award-winning garden, and she lived in Hiawatha, Kansas, and she loved her garden, and she took care of her roses. And every fucking year on Halloween 31st, them children's just fucking ruined her shit. And every morning on November 1st, she woke up to a ruined garden, and she decided she was going to put a stop to it. So she threw a party. There were costume contests and candy and bobbing for apples and treats galore. And if you behaved yourself, you could participate in the party. And the next morning, her garden didn't suffer.
Right, and didn't they call her like the queen of modern?
Well, I think they called her either the queen or the mother of modern Halloween.
Right.
Because what we know of as Halloween is thanks to Elizabeth Krebs. So
in Kansas,
Hiawatha, Kansas. And, I'm pretty sure it's not far off from Hiawatha that Neowalla happens, which is a huge, in Independence, Kansas, they have Neowalla every year, which is Halloween spelled backwards, and it's a huge Halloween festival. Fun. Joplin sometimes is in the marching band festival out there. So we've gone a couple years. The kids were talking about taking a trip, just them, out this year, which Corey and I have thoroughly encouraged them to go enjoy together the Neowalla.
That sounds really fun.
Yeah, it is. It's got there's a vendor fair, and you can get I'm pretty sure at Neowalla is where I got, that snowman decoration I have on the window pane.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we got that at Neowalla. Pretty sure it was at Neowalla. I might be wrong. It might have just been an Independence at Christmas time, but I think it was Neowalla.
So, do you decorate for Halloween? Do you have a favorite decoration? I wish I could say I did, but I don't. My kids are still young, so I feel like that's something that I'm going to grow into as my kids grow, because right now my Halloween decorations get grubby hands all over them. But I do.
No, that's for sure. And that's what the disposable ones are for, is when they're little, and they can play around with the styrofoam pumpkins. I love an outdoor graveyard because Halloween's all about honoring the dead.
I love
and
those.
So if you got a graveyard outside, you're honoring the dead with that graveyard. You're representing those who have fallen. Maybe you even have special little homemade ones. We as a family, Corey cut out a bunch of not sheetrock, but plywood. And we painted them gray and shit. And then we put names on them. And,
I love that.
Yeah, so mine says here rests Auntie Am, because we lived in Kansas.
Sounds really fun. Yeah, actually. That sounds great.
It's so fun. And we've also got the Dollar Tree ones that go along with it. And at that party I was at last night, they had Goals Graveyard. It looked like a real graveyard.
You're I love your Halloween decoration.
Oh my God, if it was real and I didn't go walking in it, opportunity missed. But, I mean, all of the decorations have things behind them, all the scary stuff is meant to keep the scary stuff away. And the graveyard is meant to honor the dead, and the lights are meant to give the dead lights to light their path by, or to protect you from them, or a combination thereof.
That's true.
Yeah. I do have a favorite. My favorite decoration is one of the cheapest decorations that we got, and we've had it most of our marriage. This tea that Maddie made is so fucking delicious, guys. Sorry.
You do like it? I'm so glad.
Oh, I do. It is so spicy. I love it. This is a paper mache pumpkin. Aww. It's just paper mache. It's just paper mache. You've
taken care of it, unlike the people in the early 1900s.
Yes, yeah. We got it. Gia might have been born yet. I'm not sure. Like, that's how long we've had it. And I love it. It's real simple, guys. Like, anybody who's not watching on YouTube, go to YouTube and like and subscribe so you can see it. Yeah. But it's got, like, it's just an off-white background, which maybe originally was white.
Maybe, yeah, because it is old.
And then it's got little black, like, scroll work on it, and then little orangey red starbursts, like, and almost teardrops, but not quite. I mean, it's really simple, but I think it's my favorite decoration.
Well, I mean, it has, like, that stuff in the, or what do you call it, memories.
Yes, it does, because, like, my favorite decoration that we don't have much of it left, and I don't think any of it's out, is when I was little, my parents had these 3 little ghosties.
Oh, yeah?
And they all had a little top hat on them. They were porcelain, and each one was in a different, like, pose. Excuse me. Each one was in a different pose. They all had a little black top hat. They're about, I don't know, what is that, 3 inches high, 2 inches high? Yeah, and I mean, they weren't much, but I loved them. Every day I would rearrange how they were, you know, because they were always somewhere that I could do that. And I loved those little ghosties, actually, and we inherited them.
Oh, do you know where they are? You said you don't know.
No, I said we don't have all of them left because I think one got broken and one broke an arm.
I think my favorite decoration that I don't put out, but I want to eventually start, is definitely the little gnomes. Like they have them at the Dollar Tree. They're so fucking cute. Yes. But I love them for Christmas too. So what is your favorite Halloween decoration?
Yeah, what do you like to decorate with? Mine's an amalgamation.
Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks for... Oh, Patreons. Hey, thanks for being our patrons too, Victoria.
Pam.
Death by DVD.
And Melissa.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. If you want to join the ranks of those awesome people we just named, you can visit patreon.com/Witches Talking Tarot and sign up for a tier that gets you extra content and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell.
Bye.